Welcome back to the castle. Today we have some new gameplay footage, especially for multiplayer, that the devs showed in the last dev stream. Ivor and me are gonna talk about it and give you some information, so let's check it out.
So the game's looking pretty new in its state, and right here we get a really good view of Mount Etna, the volcano. How do you feel about the volcano addition to the game, Shoppo?
I don't know if it's realistic, but it looks hella cool, actually. I like it.
Yeah, it really does, doesn't it? It's just a really great aesthetic.
Yeah,
and here.
Yeah, check over here. There's some battles going on. And funny thing is, we get this preview, this animated preview, and it even changes the background. You noticed?
Yeah, you brought that
here.
point up earlier to me, that it went from like a regular plundering to like a sieging view. And we're seeing here that this Africa looks more green than probably what it should be. I always thought North Africa was much more deserty.
Yeah, it should be, right? That's what I thought too, actually.
Yeah, but climates change, you know, and maybe back in the medieval ages was a lot like that.
Yeah, that could be. And over here we see the devs clicking through the different knight skills. I think it's some of them are equipped already and they put some new ones, even hired a new guy.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what kind of new skill trees and skills that the devs will include, because I'm sure they're going to make edits by the time the game's released for all these types of skills that the game's going to include. Yeah,
plus you have those tradition to your kingdoms that also influence your knight skills and are something like kingdom skills. They had a dev diary about that a little earlier. And by the way, do you like how the knight portraits look like?
I think knight portraits do look pretty good. And on top of that topic, the devs mentioned that there is going to be a lot of customization with that. At least I guess when you start the game and you pick your king, your starting king. In fact, they even have portraits of me apparently on the dev forums. If you guys want to check that out,
definitely should. So what we can see now is, or what you just saw is some buildings. There's siege going on. Oh, that's the battle tactics actually. We talked about that, you remember?
Yeah, I did actually. That was been a topic in the forums, the big debates about whether or not there should be some more involvement within battles and auto resolves. And it seemed like they've at least done something along that order.
It looks cool. And I think it's quite handy. You got it in the screen. And we had those two stages of attacking a city. Like first the siege, and then you can decide if you want to assault it, or if you see that it's strongly defended, then you can run away.
So on the right of the screen, where we see this kind of icon, it looks like almost like a parchment paper, but to the right and up of that, we see these three kind of tiny icons. Now, hopefully I'm correct on saying this, but I believe in the first gameplay footage, we did not see these three tiny icons. And in addition, we see in the first gameplay footage, we saw a lot more of those like parchments. So I suspect those three icons are like some kind of organizer for those tabs. How do you feel about that, Shoppo? Do you think it's going to be good?
Would actually be, because in the late game in Knights of Honor 1, you had like a big building order. It was getting kind of messy.
Yeah, it really did actually in Knights of Honor 1. Sometimes you could have like 20 buildings, and it's difficult to click and cycle through what was important and what was not.
Yeah, and what happened to me a lot is that I couldn't click on all the buildings that were finished. So I had to look for the recently finished buildings and find the city. where it was built for making upgrades or building the next building within the production chain. Maybe they changed that. I hope they do.
Hopefully there's going to be a lot of power behind those sorting organizers, if that's what they are indeed.
Yeah, true. And what is very cool, what we are about to see now, is those C names. Did you recognize them? Those C names on different maps?
Yeah,
very cool.
They're tricky to read, but they look really cool, really sexy names.
Yeah.
And I like how they're just kind of like almost like embedded into the ocean. It gives a really cool medieval feel to it.
And it even is on this map right here. You said it's the Kingdom View map, right?
Yes. This, if you take the stream really slowly, it will show it's the tab was Kingdom View. And it gives us, we haven't seen that in the first gameplay trailer. In this trailer, we also see on the bottom left, there's an additional icon. They had it organized slightly different in the first gameplay trailer, and now we see that there's like two kind of central bottom left icons. There's like you can see a throne, and then under that there's some like currency. They have some kind of sliders or something underneath them, a progression bar maybe. So they're just, it's clear that they're still organizing, interfacing.
Yeah, I know from other games that UI, the user interface, is a quite tricky thing to do, and devs are always switching how they can arrange things, how they can make them more clear and more easy for us players to grasp. Maybe there could be some further changes in the future. I think they will. Oh, and now there it just was the building and build order. I think we have never clearly see how that works, and I figured it's a little different than to the first game because we have now 5 different categories and not just 3. And it seems, the Pirate Haven seems to be pretty popular with the devs. See that a lot, which is you.
At least in this stream, they really seem to want to showcase everything with the Pirate Haven. You see it speckered all throughout this gameplay footage. Pirate Haven that, Pirate Haven this. And I guess it must be a powerful part of the game or mechanic or building of the game. So that's exciting to see how that will unfold once we get our hands on this juicy game.
I wonder what it will be, because I think they have never mentioned this feature in previous streams or dev diaries.
They mentioned the Pirate Haven in the previous dev diary. Yes. Ooh. And he was excited even in that dev diary when he was talking about it.
Like on stream?
Yeah, on stream. Here's another really long, gorgeous view of the kingdom maps, and you can see how it's giving us clearly some more information. What exactly that information is, I think I need to get my hands on the game to say that.
It kind of looks that basically the colors are the kingdoms, and the borders mark the different provinces, and those buildings are where the city is located. I think that basically is all that's in there. Oh, and now very specific for multiplayer. We want to dive into that a little bit more. There is 3 different ways how we can play this game. But the most important point, the most overall important point, is we can play like the devs do over here. We can play the campaign, the world map or the European map in multiplayer. Not only battles like in the first game, but the whole campaign. That's what at least the 2 of us were waiting for.
Not just us. I think everybody following Knights of Honor 2 is waiting.
Ari, could you tell us what the options are, how we can play?
Well, the 3 main game modes will be, of course, a standard free-for-all. So everybody out for themselves. There'll be, and of course, a team mode. So you could have like a 3v3 or a 2v2. And then finally, there's a shit.
Cooperative mode.
Yes, and there's also a cooperative mode where you can play with a person. We don't know exactly how that's going to end up. What are your suspicions on how exactly the co-op will end up like?
I think you're playing as the same kingdom. I think that's what it's going to be. Because team would be everybody's playing his own or her own kingdom, and you're just allies. And as a co-op, you're managing one and the same kingdom.
You don't think it will be like two people just playing against AI as separate kingdoms?
Could be. There could be two.
We'll have to wait and see once the game comes out. We'll get our answers, or maybe they'll release it in a new dev diary.
But one thing you did mention it. One thing which is very important: we can play multiplayer at the current status with 6 people, not only 4, but 6 people. That was astonishing, I think, because I would have thought that it will be only 4 players, which is pretty standard, I guess.
Yeah, but not just that. Don't cut the devs short. They did mention that with modding and possibly just going into the future, that they themselves might change this number. And again, regardless, modding might even expand it further.
I hope there will some even bigger multiplayer battles on the world map.
It will be interesting to see how multiplayer battles are resolved, whether you can do some kind of instant action when there's like a 3v3, or if it will always be some sort of auto-resolve.
True. Oh yeah, true. They didn't dive into that. Maybe they don't know for themselves by now. But that's gonna be... I think that's gonna be a very important part, how they... Very important for the gameplay and the game flow and how much fun you're having in multiplayer. Okay, so Ivory, we got one last point that we definitely want to talk about.
Here we have, yes, the royal family, and you can see there's some sort of management, there's even some skills that your king has, and maybe some additional features that you can like select for your king. Or like a tree of some sort where you can take your king in a certain direction.
Alright, perfect. That's it for today. I hope you had fun, got some information. Make sure to follow and subscribe and let us know what you saw in this footage of the multiplayer gameplay and what you're definitely anticipating. And as ever, let the sun always shine on you.